Hello everyone and welcome back to Happy Thoughts with Danny. I'm so glad you could all join me today. In today's topic, we're going to be discussing how parents can recognize signs and symptoms that their kids might be struggling with if they have depression. So just in the US alone, there's 20% of teens that experience depression and 14% of those teens are at risk for developing another mental health disorder. And as we know, depression is a mental illness, so it is not seen by the naked eye. It does not have a specific target population, and it can literally target any age group, ethnicity, or gender. Each one of us knows someone that struggles with depression, but if no one comes to mind, well, statistically speaking, it is impossible to not know anyone because 1 in 4 people struggle with depression, so the chances of you not only knowing one but multiple people with depression is very high. I remember as a kid I used to think that only adults would get depression, but that is definitely not the case. There is an estimate of 1.3 million cases of kids that struggle with depression, and that is just in the US alone. There are resources to help kids, and in fact 2/3 of the kids in the US do receive the help that they need, but that 1/3 is still important to keep fighting for and to reach out and help them. And actually, for a really long time, my sister was part of this 1/3 of teenagers that struggled with depression, and it went unnoticed and untreated for a really long time. And even though my sister knew she was having depressive episodes, she wouldn't say anything about it because she was afraid that we wouldn't believe her, or even worse, that we wouldn't help her get the help that she needed. And I remember one day in my medical assisting class, we were learning about the fundraiser that we were going to help put on that year, which we were going to partner with NAMI, which stands for the National Alliance for Mental Illness. The day came that the fundraiser was going to go on. It was going to be a walkathon, and I remember that there was a booth set up in the middle of campus, and there was a man that was there giving out information and signs and symptoms to look out for if we do know of someone that has depression, or how we can help know if they have depression. And I remember that some of the signs and symptoms that he mentioned were sudden loss of energy, the inability to have fun. They wanted to remain isolated. They had feelings of despair and sadness. At first I thought, oh my goodness, that sounds like my sister. But as I was thinking, I said, no, she's a teenager, so hers is just a phase. I completely almost overlooked the situation, but luckily the thought kept coming to my head. And so I decided to talk to my mom about it, and we eventually got my sister the help she needed, and she was able to get diagnosed. And so as I mentioned some of these signs and symptoms, you might have thought of someone, maybe a family member, a friend, the child of a friend, who knows. But if someone did, maybe it's a sign to reach out to them in a loving way and help them, because they might be afraid, just as my sister was, afraid to seek out information or to get the help that they need. But if you would like to know more signs and symptoms or how you can help these kids struggling with depression, you can go to NAMI or a website called www.adoldepression.com. To spell it out for y'all, it's www.adoldepression.com. Thanks everyone for joining me today and finding out a little bit more about depression and how you can help those around you.